TikTok work? Looks like it is. Good. Move this over here. Multi-streamers hate this one weird trick. Okay. I think we are now successfully live from the Pro Sauna. What's up, Huga? Good to see you, my friend. How's your day going? God, my throat is still jacked up. What's up, Miss Prince? Thank you for coming by the stream. So today, it's going to be another deck roasting stream. We are expanding the how to build a commander deck Google presentation to include the deck personality matrix. Yeah, Hugo, give me the real answer. Spellbreaker, you're welcome. I mean, hey, at least they lasted a long time, right? So this matrix, we're gonna place everybody that is being roasted today. I'm gonna go to the Google Sheet to find everybody that's being roasted today, and we're gonna get their names onto here. So for the first couple minutes, we're just gonna be typing names in. So these are all people that are being roasted, and then as we do the roasting, we will move them into whatever deck or whatever place on the matrix they deserve. Johto, yes you are. Yubi, thank you for the Prime sub for the 4 months in a row. Welcome back to the dog home, my friend. I appreciate those Bezos bucks. Question, what tier do I need to sub to Patreon for roast? It is the $25 tier, my friend. Huga, I'm sorry that today sucked, and I am sorry that the last couple months have sucked. That is how life be sometimes. I hope that it will get better, but know that I cannot promise that it will. But I also hope that for the next 2 to 3 hours, I can make you giggle a little bit. Troper, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Shudo wants to know if Tarkir belongs in modern or classic art. I will tell you. When I titled the modern art section, this is what I was thinking of. This is what I think of when I think of modern art. So, you have shoulda tell me how much they think this resembles one of their decks. Cyber Draco, thank you for the 9 months in a row, but a year at tier 1. I so fucking forgot about this, but I'm glad to have you back. Welcome back to the dog home, my friend. Scotia, thank you for coming by the stream. I am terribly sorry for getting you back into this game, but hopefully we can have a good time together. All right, so we have 420 Templar. We're gonna need these to be a little bit smaller, I think. Cyber Draco, you are last right now. If you cannot go last, we can move you up. If you cannot go last, we will move you up. Otherwise, you are last. All right, you are last right now. Invictus, yes, there is word. So today is a deck roasting stream, and then Friday and Saturday will be deck roasting streams. Next week's streams are going to get scheduled tonight and are mostly scheduled based off of the dates you filled in when you signed up. So let me drop the order for all of you. I'm not going to update the stream title because it's still Malding Time. In my opinion, same soup, different bowl. Malding Time is all the time, exactly. All right, so we got to get these names in, and then... So 420 Templar is going to go first, and then it's going to be Talamar, and then it's going to be Jobot. Oh, no. Templar, Talamar, Rukak, Siren, Jobot, ZesReal, FLCLRock, Rick Dom, Zifer, Karma, Huga, and then Cuber. Where does efficient beat ass aggro go on this chart? Well, Spellbreaker, we don't have a term for a deck that is just functional and good, because I've yet to see many. So we're not gonna worry about making categories for those until I see a couple. There was that Animar deck. There was a Clue deck that I really liked. I think those are probably gonna go under National Treasure starring Nicolas Cage, because I love that movie, and so I think the decks where I just like I unconditionally enjoy what is happening here, even if it's a little bit stupid, are gonna go in the National Treasure category. I mean, all of these categories are meant to be based in some way, but ultimately offensive. And so if you look at these categories and you think, oh, I kind of like that, and it hurts me, then the category names are doing their job. Hey, Adora Uwu, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the Doghouse, my friend. And thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate those Bezos bucks. Welcome to the dog home. I ended up updating my O'Hara Ashenal deck that you roasted with a lot of the advice you gave me, and now it's going to a competitive face-to-face tournament this weekend. Well, good luck, Invictus. I hope that it goes well. I can't promise that it will. And Yvonne, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to Doghouse, my friend. And Kala, thank you for remarking on the stream den. Pretty much all of the positive progress you've seen right now is thanks to Z. We have moved from the garage to the super sauna, and they have done all the work to black out a bunch of windows, set up these RGB lights. Yeah, and so it is all thanks to them. Can't see crap on TikTok. Oh, that explains so much. Hold on. Display capture. There we go. That explains a whole lot. Thank you for that heads up. Mattman8129, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. Username dude asks how it's going, Z.
It's going pretty good. I like it in here.
Bacow!
Hello.
Can I see the cute rat for a second? I want to edit it into a token. Here you go, buddy. There's cute rat. There's cute rat. Umbuka here for items and misprints. Thank you all for the Twitch follows. Welcome to the Doghouse, my friend. And Brit Bread, thank you for the 7 months in a row at tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home. Finally made it to a stream, been out of town and busy watching most of the VODs, and glad stuff seems to be moving in a mostly positive direction for you. Thank you so much, Brit. It has been on the road to good. I am very hopeful about the coming weeks and months. So with that said, I'm going to go over the categories one more time, and we're going to get into it with 420 Templar's deck. So if you haven't been to a deck roasting session before, my viewers send in a power level, a primer, if they want improvements, and the deck's vibe in one word. Now, we don't accept the 1 to 10 power ranking because numbers are bullshit. We accept adjectives, and those adjectives, initially developed by my friend Danny Phantom, are silly, spooky, and scary based on how ominous your deck's turns are. So after reading these decks and seeing if they hold true to that power level and that primer, we are going to put them on to the deck personality matrix. Our categories are Registered Stacks Offender, which should be self-explanatory, sponsored by EDHREC for our decks that are functional but do not really have a spirit of their own and are just kind of piles of vaguely synergistic things that if EDHREC could have put your deck together with suggestions. You are sponsored by EDHREC, and that can mean it's a good deck, but it generally means I want you to add a little razzmatazz to it. There's modern art, which this is your reference image for modern art. RX only, so this means that you need or should have an active Adderall prescription to effectively get through this deck. These are definitely Veyron decks. Then there's National Treasure starring Nicolas Cage. The most I'll say for this is I personally love National Treasure. It is one of my favorite movies of all time, and that is all I will say. Could have been a barbecue. For when the deck you've put together, you should have just invited people over to hang out rather than subjecting them to the pile of flaming garbage that you've actually presented here. And then there's classic art. I think that's also self-explanatory. There is Behold My Stuff. These are decks that these are decks where you just kind of present a whole bunch of creatures and whatnot and hope for the best. And then there's Minecraft Creative Mode, where to do what you say your deck's game plan is, people have to just let you do whatever you want for turns and turns, and you are living in magical Christmas land. Salad One, it is a Patreon redeem to get your deck reviewed. It is the $25 tier. Troper, what handle did they submit under? Because you and Shoulda are on Friday, and I believe when we talked, it looked like Layman would have been today, but I'm just going off of what I have in front of my records right now. High Table. Oh no, Troper, that account, that is Friday. That is I saw your email, and oh, both of yours are Friday. So I'm sorry, both of you and Shoulda are on Friday. I misquoted you when I referenced Wednesday. For reference, on Friday, you are first, Shoulda is second, and then Layman is fifth. So all three of them will be on the same day. No, my bad, Goat. I'm sorry about that. Mattman8129, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the Doghouse. And Gummer, thank you for the year in a row at Tier 1. Welcome back to the Dog Home. Britbread, for the personal question, I am pretty excited about Bloomborough. The thing I'm not excited about for Bloomborough is the next couple months of whether or not the commander can get it. It's gonna be a real hard time for me. I'm gonna need thoughts and prayers. I'm gonna need help. I think we're gonna have to say yes eventually, but I'm gonna hold out. Sloth on Perp, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome to the Dog Home, my friend. I appreciate your generosity and your Bezos bucks. So with no further ado, let's start roasting some decks. So first up tonight is 420 Templar, who has an allegedly silly deck. Behold, a redacted, because I'm not quoting numbers. The goal of the deck is to get early ramp, stick a value piece on the board, then drop the horse and start copying progressively stupider things. The deck is on the slow side, and your win conditions mostly require you to turn things sideways at people, but the horse is surprisingly resilient and impactful. It never feels bad to recast at any point in the game because it does shit immediately. Let's check out some horsies. Purely Deranged, thank you for becoming a member of the Dog Home on YouTube. Welcome to the Dog Home, my friend. Look at my horse. My horse is amazing. I like the energy. Okay, 37 lands, which I'm down with. That's a very respectable number. A 6 mana commander in a 6 mana commander in mono red is definitely hard to get to. So removal good. All of your removal. Why does all of your removal come from the fucking Gucci store? I guess Blast Act works early. Or you could 2-for-1 yourself in Commander. This is hardly... This is only removal for the token player, and so I respect it because of that. And this is soft removal. This is removal, but it might fail for 6 mana. Me go face. Okay, so this is presumably the stuff that we want to copy with Calamity, because Calamity's copying twice. Terror of the Peaks is fucking awful. Yeah, my favorite turn sideways win condition is when I create 3 Terror of the Peaks and cast 1 creature, instantly killing everybody. Attacks or dies? Okay, so the sacrifice is pretty good here. Honestly, I think Baylor is a little bit in terms of doing damage, unless you have some like real down to earth blue players who just break max hand size all the time. Oh, hold on. This turned off. It's way better than you think? Okay. Talk to me. Repeating 4 is still fucked up. Cavalier of Flame, good. ETB and Death is definitely Red's wheelhouse. ETB damage, ETB damage, ETB damage. Shut up, woman, get on my horse. Maze of Ith is such a good... More people need to have Maze of Ith in their commander decks. They won't do it, but they should. It would make their lives better and them better. Roaming Throne is... It's always hard for me to see a Roaming Throne because it's always the right card and it's always boring. Roaming Throne, never PogChamp. Always... Truly cannot think of a time where Roaming Throne is not better than at least 1 4-mana card in your deck. Protection, Shroud. Yeah, Resonator's great. Arcane Lighthouse. Yeah, I love Hexproof Hate. Arena of Glory is very good. If I didn't add at least one of these red draw cards, Mauld was gonna hit me with a shoe. I was. You know, you try to build narratives in your head. You try to build scripts out. Think of what you're gonna say next. I was about to get the fucking chancla for the lack of card draw outside of your Cavalier effect. Okay, interaction. This is more interaction than I've seen any other mono red player run. Okay, ramp. Mind Goblin. Lots of rocks. Goddamn, sure. Fable. Hedron Archive. Jesus. This is how hard the red players have to work. This is how hard the red play. 4 mana for a basic land to field tapped. Although if you saddle that with Calamity, then you're set for the game. Imodane shooty face. I don't view that as interaction. I think this is a pretty responsible ramp package. You're guaranteed to see at least one, if not multiple. Throne of Eldraine, another thing for like any monocolor deck. Why wouldn't you? Value. Oh, that is such good cheating. Oh, getting this multiple times is fucking horrible. Goblin Matron. I swear to God, if the last row has Dockside, okay. Okay. We're not fetching Dockside, so we're presumably fetching, like, Name Sticker Goblin to try to ramp in our commander. Yeah, Sundial's crazy. Okay, let's do a quick play test. This looks, honestly, disgusting in a very positive way. Now, I will say another rule about the Mauled playtests is you don't get mulligans unless you got no lands. We are figuring out what your deck can do all on its own. So turn 3, we're going to Facebreaker. Extraordinarily fair. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say turn 4, at least one person didn't have 2 blockers. So then we'll Thrawn Dynamo with our treasure. So I think we just cast it, and then we'll saddle it with this guy. We'll make 2. We'll say 1, or no, I'll keep giving us the benefit of the doubt. We'll get 2 treasures. Turn 6, we get to hide away. We will put, we have no like big instants or sorceries, so we'll put Mr. Sad Robo up there. And then favorite green instant go? Fog. Easily Fog. Okay. And now turns, oh wait, no. So we played this for turn. And then we can play Port Razor. So we, and I think as long as we have a way for Calamity to not die, this goes infinite in a super dumb, because we swing with this. We make 2 copies of Port Razor. Now the Port Razors have to get through. Because if on this first combat they don't deal, if these 2 copies don't deal combat damage to a player, or if Calamity Galloping Inferno dies, then we do not go infinite. That is a cornerstone of silly decks, is going infinite on turn 7, and just winning the whole game. I mean, I'm inclined. I like it. I like beating people to death. I do hate infinites. I think that, and it's frustrating because it's such a perfect card for Calamity. It's such a perfect card for the commander. But I do hate just being like, oopsie poopsie, it's all done now. But you do get there relatively slowly. You're not tutoring for it. I'm not going to give it a pass, but I don't think it is like, I don't think it's as stinky as some infinites are clearly jammed into decks because the deck has no other plan but to hope they draw into the infinite. And I think you have plenty of other things you are actively trying to do. And then and as I say that, we have the infinite in our first hand again. That's my fault. Now we're going to discard the hand size. Let's see how quickly we get this. We're going to get our commander out very quickly. Well, not very quickly, but we're going to get our commander out, I think, on curve. And then hey, turn 7, we win infinite and we won the game again. So almost. I will say this is a national treasure so long as you tell people that this shit is coming, for them. I feel like the commander pod that this gets played in has one copy of Infernal Grasp that they pass around, like the Sisterhood of the Traveling Responsible Removal Packages. And so if you tell people, oh, hey, by the way, there's an otherwise good card in here that will just end the game, then I'm cool with it. I think not running protection is definitely the point of the deck, and that's why it is a national treasure. It is all gas, no brakes. So I like it. I think that the land base is certainly reasonable enough. I'm gonna say it again. You need more. You had one of these. You can draw the deck in the wrong order. You have some ramp and you have lands, but we have been, on those 2 playtests, we were barely skating with enough lands to do the deck's thing. And so it does seem like if we play it and somebody shoots it in the chest and then we miss a land drop, we fucking hang out for a while. And I don't think you can afford to do that. Barely skating means still working. Fair enough. Let's see. Let's see if they get by again. Never mind. You're good. Fuck it. I guess you don't need card draw. Your deck's perfect. 3. You know what? You pass 3 Moxfield playtests and play your commander on curve every time. You're fine. I recant my demand that you can draw your deck in the wrong order. I guess you can't. I guess your deck only gets drawn in the right order, 420. Alright, we are going to move on to Talamar von Geist's Silly and Spooky deck. This is a group slug deck that encourages all... It's an epithet that I don't care to repeat. Certainly not cancelable, but I think it's a little on the bubble to say on the internet. This is a group slug deck that encourages all of those goddamn green players to play fairly. Deck in one word is fair. So where's that turn 7 infinite? Josiah and anybody on TikTok wondering, the way you get your decks reviewed is through a Patreon redeem, which is available through my Linktree. 37 lands, I like that. Everybody's learning. Sack my balls. Fuck you. Comic Sans Mogus. Alright, so people either need to sacrifice or they take 2 damage. This is, I'm sure, another commander that is just non-stop people misunderstanding the concept of commander damage. Death is it for worms. I'm sure that's a reference I don't understand. Very reasonable amount of graveyard hate. Oh. Oh, it's that kind of fair. Uh-huh. Hold on. What the fuck is this card? What the fuck is Invader Parasite? Exile target land. When a land with the same name enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, Invader Parasite deals 2 damage to that player. I can exile a forest? You're telling me for 5 mana I can not only cause deforestation, but I can deal 2 damage every time they play a forest. Each player sacks all lands but 3. No library searching. I do love polluted bonds. I've tried to make this work. Oh, this is horrifying. So we have 17 ways to get rid of lands. Players can't gain life damage. The game state is advancing in every single way except land ownership. Cheating, yeah, all right. This is what I'm talking about. When I talk to you guys about being able to play your commander decks, being able to play... My mic stand has come off. We're going to hold it for a little while. When I talk about being able to play your goddamn commander decks, this is what I'm talking about. Sacking your own lands for 2 mana, I guess, to draw 1 card. Drawing 3 cards at random and discarding the best 3 cards in your hand. This is, I mean, my favorite thing about this deck is that we are advancing the game state under any circumstances. Damage is being dealt. Yeah, damage. Oh, Jesus. Torment of Hailfire. Null Profusion? What the hell does Null Profusion do? Skip your draw step. When you play a card, draw a card, hand side. So it's flubs. This is old school flubs. Yeah, Descent into Avernus, Citadel of Pain, Power. The fact that Power Balance is in here as protection is the most optimistic shit I have seen in my entire life. This is a person... Power Balance under the protection section is, we've never skinned our knees, we've never missed the bus to school, ice cream has never melted onto our hands. Nothing bad has happened in this world. Baby, I need your help.
Where's your...
It's still screwed in. I just didn't screw it in the right way.
Oh. Well, take it out.
Anyway, you guys.
Oh, no. Do you have... There we go. I got it. I have the hand.
All right. 8 pieces of removal. Oh yeah, Z's here. There's more land destruction in... Oh, Pillage. Doomblade. Into the Maw of Hell is just so funny. There is both Z here and a neighbor's cat who has climbed in.
Proceeding to
Please
destroy.
don't climb up there. Please, God.
Come here, Precious. Come on. Right here.
I do like Tainted Aether. Tainted Aether is God's just response to all token deck players. This cat is knocking over like a million things right now.
Hold on, I want...
Little
I
baby.
want the people to
Little
see it.
baby, be gentle. Thank you. Hello. Show cat. Show cat pics. Oh, hold on. Okay. Wait. Tyrant of Discord. When it ETBs, target opponent chooses a permanent he or she controls. Oh, at random and sacrifices it. And if it's not a land, keep going. Oh, I love this deck. Can it? No, it can win the game. I was about to be like, how do you even win? But you are undeniably doing damage all the time. All right, we are going to miss here. Now we're going to get an MDFC. We'll pay 3. We'll pay 3 just to not keep getting screwed. So we're up to 4. We could do this, or we could Mogus. I think... Let's just make it hot. Let's just make it hot. Do Descent. I'm not going to keep track of the life, because that's way too much fucking math. But I think if we... Windfall... fuck this ingot. Draw 2. We have 2 treasures now. And then let's say we just fucking soul shatter right here. People probably don't have lands in their graveyard right now. Maybe we have to use Red Elemental Blast to protect Mogus or something. And then we'll say we just spend this turn shooting things in the fucking chest. So that we do this, and then Null Profusion. We probably tap out for that. Oh, we skip our draw step, so we don't draw that. We play this, draw that, go to our next turn, play this, draw that, play that, draw that. And now everybody's probably burning to absolute death. Okay, I think that was a pretty soft playthrough, to be honest, and I still enjoyed it. Why has there been no cat content before? It's my neighbor's cat. It's not mine. It just walked over. So turn 1, we just swamp. Turn 2, we can Crusader. So next turn, we draw 2. Do a land. We can Prankster. Next turn, we draw 2. The fact that it's actually named Dingus Egg is fucking sending me. I thought this was named Dragon Egg. The fact that you can say with a straight face, I play Dingus Egg, and now when your lands are destroyed, so too shall you be. Oh wait, we had Mogus Mana this whole time. What am I doing? Star of Extinction, very funny. Do we have... Yeah, this is mad hateful. And so we need 7. We have 5. So if we play one more thing, like if we play Grave Pact, which we don't have the pips for, we can't Dusk Mangler. But eventually we get to Dusk Mangler, and then this is an indestructible 7/5. This is fucking awful. I mean, this is straight in there. Straight in there. This is... I'll tell you what, Talamar. You get both. You get both. This is an impressionist's painting of a hateful man, and I enjoy it very deeply. I think the thing I overlooked most was the capability of just, play Devotion and turn Mogus into a 7/5. And so I think with that in mind, yeah, you are inexorably guiding the table towards the necessary game state of people are dead. You don't have 15 lands to take a 10-minute turn yet. You keep them in that very ethical range of you have between 5 and 10 lands to work with, but you do not have those like everybody has a million mana. Now we have analysis paralysis and nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. Yeah, Talamar, I'm with this. Jobot, thank you for the Prime sub for 3 months in a row. Welcome back to the dog home. I apologize in advance for my Dex land base. Hope you're doing well. Well, thank you for the apology, Jobot. I will not accept it. Turtle Twins, please look up Bend or Break. Each player separates all land cards he or she controls into 2 face-up top piles for each player. An opponent chooses a pile. Destroy all lands in that pile. Tap all lands in the other. Immediately. Immediately. We got to get that up in there. We got to get Bend or Break up in there. Needs Volcanic Awakening. That would... I do think this needs Volcanic Awakening. I am partial to this deck requiring an awakening of a volcanic nature. You don't cast enough spells for it, but you might. You could pray. I do think it is definitely magical Christmas land of like null profusion into a million perfect things. This one's pretty funny. I think it is very dependent on people having non-basic lands, but in Commander, like non-basic lands are almost as guaranteed as a little bit of pit stink. And so yeah, I think that would be pretty good. Right, you just pay 2 or 3, however many, however many triomes we got out here, and then everybody returns to Montagna. Boy howdy, this is beautiful. Damn, each player sacks 4 lands. I am surprised you don't have anything that is like... I understand you do have the graveyard, a couple graveyard synergies for like X things in graveyard. If I were a betting man, I would bet you probably need 1 or 2 fewer lands and probably 1 or 2 of the like read the bones ass cards. Just because you have very few things that bring you legitimately up on cards. I think you have trade cards, trade cards, trade cards, trade cards, trade cards. And so I think having I hate on the black spend 3 draw 2 type things a lot, but I do think it would be useful to you, or even like Rowan's Grim. You can't sack a land for this, unfortunately. But Rowan's Grim Search and Read the Bones would probably be more helpful even at 35 because your curve is not that steep. Tainted Pact, Ad Nos, Demonic Consult, Siren, get back in your corner and wait for your roast. But Talamar, tremendous job. I'll post this deck link for anybody that wanted to look at it. There it is. Great Grumpy Dragoon. I'm going to be sending out the next batch of roasts tonight, so you'll get at minimum a week of forewarning. But at this point, everybody should get scheduled for a day that they submitted to me they were okay with. We're going to move on to Rukak's deck, which is spooky and scary. This has been my primary legacy deck for 3 years, designed in the tradition of Mike Long's legendary Prosblom. The deck is the Feast or Famine Glass Cannon. Create the conditions to cast an X-cost creature for 0 mana and turn the triggers into card draw, 2/2 zombies and 1 red mana each. As ridiculous as it looks, a nut draw wins on turn 1. The deck wins by turn 2 or loses by turn 3. There is no in-between since the engine has so many incredibly necessary moving parts. Love the deck, but would love a new perspective on the engine to pick up the win rate. Deck in one word, solitaire. That is most legacy decks. I do love... It's going to be very fun exposing a bunch of traditionally commander players to legacy, because that is like giving a pilgrim McDonald's Sprite. So we've got a million X cost things. So Bergie is one of the pieces. Oh, we're gonna grape shot. Okay. So we're doing Storm, but bad on purpose, because Red Storm already exists. It just already does. And then we're using Bridge from Below. Alright, so the ideal turn, or the setup we need is we Bergie, we cast Glimpse of Nature, we have Bridge from Below out, and then... yeah, we cast everything, draw everything. Is there a way to play test this? Or do I need to what the hell is stream pop out? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's an overlay thing. I mean, I think, like, the question would have to be... This is surely... Surely, Rukak, this is some type of modern art. It's inspired by classic art. For Legacy, I guess the question is... You have a lot of pips you need to hit. Is our only source of black mana Manamorphose and Lotus Petal? Like, do we need... Bridge doesn't ever get cast. Oh, it needs to be in the graveyard. I can't read. Okay. So we Faithless Looting. Yeah, so we loot, or I guess skip a land drop. And we loot the bridge away, or skip a land drop, discard to hand size. And then we play Bergie. Yubi, I do think we pray to God. We pray hard. We pray hard that we have Bergie, Lotus Petal, and some of this. Hold on, I want to what the fuck is happening? Okay, we're taking this over to Moxfield. Siren, a wild endurance or surgical extraction ends your day. Yeah, a lot of stuff ends your day here. I think the heart of it is like, what is the gimmick that makes you committed to this deck? Because as a legacy player, this seems like Goblin Charbelcher, but worse. And if you're playing it because you like the looks on people's faces when it does work, that is assuredly why it is modern art. And it makes it hard to fix because I think the engine yeah, one copy of Grape Shot. I guess it depends a lot on what's making it brick. because the worlds you have 8, 12, 15, 18. You have 18 cards that say draw 1. And then you have 4 cards that let you draw 2. And then you have another 4 that lets you draw 1. So that's 26. 26 ways to draw. Well, really 30, because we can just flashback Faithless Looting with all the mana we poop out. I guess I would question the sideboard, because I'm not sure what you lose to other than everything. I'm assuming that Chancellor of the Annex is like about control. This deck just seems like you lose. It feels like you lose to yourself rather than losing to anybody else. The bridges aren't necessary and could be replaced by Seething Song or something similar. Yeah, I do agree with that, because Grape Shot is like, I don't think that many decks are on Flusterstorm. And so I think if you get to Grape Shot, you've probably got the game in hand to begin with. But it is also horrifying to have your deck's entire win condition come down to, do I get to this one spell and then does it work? But maybe like two more looting spells and 2 rituals, stickers banned. Like you could do, I don't know if Thrill of Possibility is the best version of this, but you could do like 2 sets of Thrill of Possibility, 2 sets of Seething Song. Or well, wait, would you even do? I don't think you would do Seething Song, because you, if you have 2 red mana, you're already there. Bridge gives it a fair game plan. Sometimes a bucket of zombies does the job. That is true. Yeah, like it's hard to improve an engine that was clearly designed by a fucking maniac. Faithless Salvaging. That could be useful. I will say I think that making the 2/2s is less critical than getting the Burgy X-Spell guy, X-Spell plan to start going off in the first place, because like if you really need a fair game plan, all you have to do is you run the ones with Burgy, and then rather than grape shotting, you dump your mana, like you just use 1 copy of Stonecoil Serpent and actually pay mana into it. And then maybe it gets killed if you die. But like I think, so for those of you who don't know, I think Legacy right now is almost entirely like blue-black, like grief somebody gaming. So yeah, 32%. Next biggest deck is 6%. Yeah, Riskaminator. So right now it is literally just, I'm going to rip 2 cards out of your hand. So in terms of functionally playing this deck in Legacy, they are going to mull you to 5 for you. And I think that Bridge sets up... It sets up a backup plan for a deck that I think has to go all in on their first plan, if it's going to try to do anything against the other Legacy decks that do exist. I think a backup plan is responsible. I think it's what everyone should have in an ideal world. But I do think with the knowledge that, like, your average game of Legacy, you are going to be getting 1, if not 2 of your best cards ripped, and they are never going to rip this for you, I would cut... I don't think I would play these anymore. Vexing Bauble would certainly be useful to you. Vexing Bauble would both save you against... Vexing Bauble saves you against Force of Will. It saves you against Grief so long as you get to go first. Or as long as they don't try to do it. Maybe they don't have it on turn 1. So yeah, I would drop your bridges, and I would do... I'm not sure if I would do 4 copies of Vexing Bauble, but I think between Vexing Bauble, Rite of Flame, and Faithless Salvaging, I think between those 3 cards, any combination is better than 4 of Bridge from Below. In my pseudo-professional opinion. I do think this is a silly deck. I think this is a silly thing you have made. I believe you when you say turn 1 win, turn 2 win, turn 3 give up all hope, ye who enter here. And I think that you don't have the space for plan A, plan B. You only have the space for plan A, and please God will plan A work. So that is what I would suggest. I definitely agree with your assessment that this deck is solitaire. I would maybe say solitaire, but also on fire. And yeah, I would try it with no bridges. Leyline of Sanctity. Presumably this is for the Grief matchup. I think Vexing Bauble. I think you could even try 4 of Vexing Bauble. But it would probably be like 2 of, and then 2 of either Rite of Flame or Faithless Salvaging, depending on whether you think the problem is more often not having the right cards in hand, or the problem is more often not getting to that Burgy mana. Joe Salsa has a good tip for you. ID if you want to if you want to win more, just switch to Blue Black Reanimator by Fletcher Johnson, who went 6-0 by simply making people discard their win cons. Rave, I don't think you main deck Leyline. I think main decking Vexing Bauble would achieve what you want. So that said, we're going to move on to Siren's deck. But first, thank you to Samu Tech and Coral Blue for the Prime subs. Welcome back to the dog home, the both of you. I appreciate your generosity in those Bezos bucks. Good day to you as well, Coral. Siren's deck is allegedly spooky. This deck was built in 3 leaps of logic. 1, you can cast the spree cards with Isochron Scepter and still pay their costs. You can use Hinata to discount the spree spells when you pay their costs. 3, you can use Isochron Scepter and Hinata to spam spree spells. I'm going to call a judge and potentially the police. So Hinata, cost reduction per target. Isochron Scepter, casting without paying the mana cost. But I do believe when you cast things without paying its... So when you cast things without paying its mana cost, my understanding is you are choosing an alternate mana cost. And paying that. And you cannot choose another alternate mana cost, but you can pay extra costs. And spree spells all come with extra... Jesus Christ. Dockside Extortionist. Iron Mirror. Ulamog the Defy... What the fuck is going on with this deck? They sold this to me as, haha, Hinata goes on a crime spree, and we are just passing an all-time Hall of Fame Jeskai Salt list. We've got Dino DNA combined with Dockside, which just casually goes infinite, with Tribute Mage, which I'm assuming is fetching your Isochron Scepter, as well as Narset. And then just in case none of this works, Ulamog is gonna smack you square in the gooch. What the fuck is Soul Artifact doing in here? In the midst of all of this bullshit, why do we have a goddamn, let's just get a 5/5? Copy Artifact and Mechanized Production makes sense to me. Untap my Isochron Scepter? Oh, do you have like creature untappers in here? Oh my god, on Flare of Denial. So we've got the flares, we've got phase out, presumably because everybody rightfully wants to kick Hinata in the goddamn chest. So let's see how many spree spells we actually have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The stated gimmick. The stated gimmick is 5. This is such... This is a marathon crack smoker sesh. I think the thing that went up on the vision board was spree. And the thing that came off the vision board was first 40 feet of copper wire stolen from the nearest manufacturing plant. Urza... And then a little bit of spree. But let me... That may be unfair. Let me see how many spree spells there actually are in Jeskai. Because we only got one set of them. Oh, sorceries. Below. Oh, it's below lands. Not a one of these is spree. Not a one of them. Okay, so you're using a third of them. This one I understand not doing. I feel like Jailbreak's fine. The fact that you're not including Metamorphic Blast is fucking horrific. Right? We're not, are we? Hold on. It is an instant, so it might be one of the ones that isn't here. Oh, Isochron only hits instants. Then even more. We should be including this one. Jesus God, this is awful. I mean, so here's my thing. This is what makes me this is what upsets me about these types of decks. From the primer, we have a super precise gimmick. We have, I'm going to copy spree spells, and Hinata is going to help me cheat and copy these spree spells. And then when we get to the deck itself, like, it looks like that happened as the inhalation of the crack pipe was still going on. Was we hit the thoughts of, Hinata will let me do this, I need to act, and then we cobbled it together. And then you probably realized, oh, this isn't like a super concise way to win the game. It doesn't have a lot of protection. I need some stuff that's going to be good, and I need some stuff that's going to protect Hinata. The end state of the deck is Unwinding Clock, and I've copied Everybody Lives. So everybody's hexproof and indestructible. Nobody can lose or win the game. You can just... People still like Smash Brothers Ultimate. You know what you need to check out? Here's my number one suggestion for a card you should add into the deck is Mario Golf Super Rush. And you just you do this instead. Because I'll tell you what, you can be just as hateful and it's much funnier. Like, I think the like, the number one thing I would recommend is one more card draw, because you're in Jeskai and you don't really have a ton of ways. You have a couple tutors. Yeah, you have some tutors, but you do not have a whole lot of draw, and you have multiple pieces that need to come together exactly right to start doing the thing you want to do, which is ideally copying all these spree spells. Like, I think that you have this very gimmicky interaction nailed down, but you don't have the gimmicky interaction translating into anything. And because the gimmicky interaction doesn't translate into anything, we have random bullshit go, but with Jeskai artifacts and Narset. And like, Homie is absolutely here as part of random bullshit go, which is understandable. I do this in some decks. Everybody should have hard closers, and I think there are some decks where it is meaningful to have these harder closers. I would really recommend more emphasis on making sure you get to these Isochron Scepter targets, and trying to find a way that the Isochron Scepter targets will convert to anything. Because if they don't convert to anything, sometimes it happens where you identify a funny interaction and you try to build a deck around it, and it just doesn't do it. Sometimes it just doesn't do it, and that's okay. Sometimes we identify really silly interactions, and the interaction can be part of the deck without being the focus of the deck. And right now it looks like it's both trying to be the focus of the deck, but has silently accepted that it can't actually be. And instead of making the focus of the deck something else and having this be garnish, you now have the like This is what I'm looking at right now. These are the hopes and dreams of doing the silly spree deck. I think if Isochron Scepter, play with me, Ed. If Isochron Scepter works with sorceries, you would really be cooking. I think the ultimate problem here is that the instant speed spree cards do not merit a deck being made around them. Unless you were doing like Jeskai beat 'em up and you really focused on Great Train Heist and Rustler Rampage. And I think by trying to present the deck as such, you have done it wrong. As Why Our Username Dude is saying, that's what you have done to this deck. And I think it's very fixable because you already have half of just a different fucking deck going on here. And so I would go back to the vision board and adjust, because you shored it up with strong and maybe not respectable, but responsible cards. Yeah, like there's something here, and that something may just be Ulamog ready to punch you, because it's a very cool idea. And if they print more spree cards, like I think this is a deck where you have that interaction in the back of your mind, like a Russian sleeper cell, and then as soon as they print more spree cards, then you are going to cook, and you are going to cook everybody so hard. But right now, Thunder Junction is so limited in terms of spree cards that you're trying to cook with like a pan, a bag of dry macaroni, and a little bit of crack. So we're going to move on to Jobot's spooky deck, which is, I'm back with that Ratatouille deck I mentioned last time, though in the end I used him as an excuse to make a zombie kindred deck with creatures that aren't zombies yet. In the interest of the undead gaming mindset, I tried to stay as far away from Orzhov life gain shenanigans as I felt I could get away with, while still paying my life taxes for the felony insurance fraud I committed last time. The deck, in one word, is brains. We're gonna look at this. I am going to use the bathroom first. Chibi Envy, Modern Horizons 4 with more spree. Yeah, like again, I would just put that specific interaction on the shelf and just say, like, with a note on it, break glass as soon as they print more spree cards, and then it's gonna be hot. So we'll be right back. Z is gonna print to keep you all company. already back, gang. 31 lands, you mother... I don't know what stream you have been listening to, but the only zombie is going to be your carcass after you have waited at that commander table for 30 fucking years trying to find the lands to play your commander because you've got 31. Now, if your card draw section is insane or your mana rock section is insane, we will revisit this classification. I said I apologize in advance. No, you're good, Jobot, but yeah, don't worry. We'll figure out some stuff to remove. All right, so alternate win cons, Bolus's Citadel, sure. Grimoire of the Dead, sure. Shepherd of Rot. Okay, so make a bunch of zombies. I wouldn't even call these alternate win cons. These are really just like, yeah, big splashy things. Be gay, do crime. Oh, sacrifice a non-zombie. Yeah, that's very good for you. Choose a creature type. Yeah, that's pretty hot. Grave Betrayal is fucking hateful. Yeah, you've got a lot. You have a lot of Toys R Us $100 toys here. And I already know we have 31 lands to pay for these toys with. So Animus, I'm assuming you can hit something with Animus, turn a different legendary into Animus, sack it, and then get the copies again. Alright, so Monarch. Eye of Vecna. Sure, that's a little bit of card draw. Little bit of card draw. Little bit of card draw. Down payments on my zombies. Alright. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so we only have 4. Oh no, 5. Our Hourglass of Lost. So we only have 5 mana rocks, which is certainly. Oh, 6. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we have 6 mana rocks. The rest are conditional, and I saw that was the same thing with your card draw list. We have a lot of ways to get stuff back from the graveyard, which is good. Horde generators. Drivnot is excellent here. Taste is excellent here. Putting a ring on it. I am okay with tempting the Orzhov tax. I mean, LSL core, yeah, it's Orzhov life gain shenanigans. Frustratingly, it does just make sense to have this little dipshit in here. Same goes for Comball. This synergy is dumb, and I love it. Yeah, Myriad with Ratatouille is honestly horrifying. Undead steroids. So this is probably where I will recommend you cut things from for lands, and more than lands for card draw. Oh, Hand of Vecna. Hand of Vecna goes immediately. I refuse to believe you get to have enough cards in your hand to make this be as meaty as you might think it is. Graph Harvest is okay. I don't even know if it's okay. Like, giving them Menace is good. But like, Aaron is better. Death Baron is better. I think Colonel Autumn. I like Colonel Autumn because you do need sacrifice triggers. I don't know how I feel about. I don't love Feast of the Victorious Dead because you don't have good consistent ways to sacrifice your own stuff. You have some good ways to. You have Call to the Grave, and other than Call to the Grave, you can pseudo shoot yourself with Kindred Dominus. He does have Eye of Vecna. Listen, he has both the Vecna cards. Only the Eye is keepable. Maybe I just haven't gotten to the. No, there's not a section. Hold on. How big is this considering list? Holy fuck. Every mana rock. Illuminator, Xerath, and Golden Throne are both sack triggers as well. When I'm talking about having enough, I mean you need like 12 plus minimum. And so the types of cards that you need in this deck is like Flowering's fine, but you have a whole lot of things that give your army little itty bitty buffs, and you have a couple things that give your army really, really big buffs. Like Colonel Autumn, huge for you. Teysa Karlov, huge for you. Aaron, huge for you. Death Baron, pretty good for you. Hand of Vecna, kind of fucking garbage for you. And so the things that are kind of garbage, like Flowering of the White Tree is just all right as heck. That's what I would replace with things like Deadly Dispute. If you want to keep, okay, hey, I'll tell you this right now. You want to keep Hand of Vecna for the Summon Vecna meme, you can. You got plenty of other bad cards, brother. Or sister or sibling. So cut like Graph Harvest. Because being able to dictate when you are sacrificing something is necessary in this deck. And so you want Deadly Dispute. You want Reckoner's. You want Reckoner's Bargain. You want anything that says. Well, you don't want anything, but you like things that say as an additional cost, sacrifice something. So Bankrupt in Blood, Altar's Reap, and you especially love things that say as an additional cost, sacrifice something, and then give me cards. So like Blood for Bones, which I think you may have this one. I think I may have scrolled by this one. But you want to look through this list and get a bunch of shit like this, because right now it looks like outside of a very small number of cards, you actually setting off Ratatouille up here is dictated by your opponents rather than by you, and that is always a really bad spot to be in. We're also going to go back. Crazy Moose, thank you so much for the $20 super chat on the previous deck. The Jeskai Gucci catalog, indeed, my friend. Thank you very much for your generosity. Welcome to Dog Heaven. And so, like, we ride at dawn. I would... you have enough legendaries that it may be useful. I would get rid of God Pharaoh's Gift. I think you would rather... I don't think you want to be exiling stuff from your graveyard. You want to keep it in there. You would much rather keep it in there. So we already know what needs to go in. What needs to go in is at least 1 or 2 more lands, and then all of these like sacrifice to draw cards things. The stuff you can get rid of, God Pharaoh's Gift, because you do not want to be taking stuff out of your graveyard. I would say Tashar. I don't think you have enough low mana. I don't think you have enough low mana things to really necessitate this. Primevals is fine. I think Kaya is probably too expensive for what she does. Like, Kaya, this is not a bad card. I mean, honestly, the alt is stupid. You shouldn't pick Planeswalkers off the alt, but the alt is pretty stupid, and I feel like you probably have worse cards. I would get rid of... Nearly half the deck is 3 mana or less. Oh, then I'm wrong. Well, alright, half the deck. Let's see how many of the creatures we care about. So we can hit Augur. We could hit Sam, who's a terrible fucking target, but we can hit him. Comball. Boromir, which I personally think this is a stupid fucking loop. So I would recommend cutting this card regardless. Just on vibes, I would recommend cutting this guy. But you can hit him. Golem, Patient Plotter. I would also recommend cutting this card because I do not see a ton of uses for him other than ring tempting, which your like only good payoff for ring tempting is Call of the Ring. Honestly, this whole section I would fucking drop. You can keep Inherited Envelope, but I would drop this whole section and replace it with card draw, and the deck will function better. So Elas, Wayward, so I think we're up to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you have 12 targets by my count, which give or take 1. You are on the bubble, so I will accept the argument that this is just barely keepable. I think Nim Deathmantle. I think Nim Deathmantle is not as good as it feels because holding up 4 mana sucks ass in this deck. This deck does not seem like a deck that wants to be holding mana. It seems like a deck that wants to be tapping out and trying to force stuff to happen. And for Nim Deathmantle to be at its most effective, it's going to be when people are reactively removing your stuff. And it is recursion, but I think you have enough recursion and ways to cheat with the graveyard. What you need is land drops and the ability to draw the cards that do things. Broken Suns fan, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. My buddy sent me your Aetherios roast. Thing is, I work for the state government and run Aetherios as my main. I've never felt more called out in my life. 10 out of 10. Can't wait to see more. Thank you, my friend, both for your generosity and for the financial support and your kind words. I appreciate that very much. All right, so you did get 3 lands in this opener, which is very good. We draw 1, but we don't care about it. We get to scry 1. See, we actually don't want this guy right now because we don't have. Oh, no. Rite of Oblivion will save this. So we do 3. I mean, I guess play this. Next turn, this guy, Ratatouille, we become the Monarch, draw at end step. Next turn, so turn 5. Zeras. Which can we... I do think we have the pips. And then white, black. We Rite of Oblivion something. We get double copies. We get double copies of Zeras. Now Grey Havens taps for black. We would have drawn on our end step. So these are non-legendary. So now we want a legendary. So let's drop Gisa. Or actually, no, this needs to be legendary for it to work. Rich, we're doing okay. We're currently looking at a semi-hateful Ratatouille deck. Yeah, I think creating Vecna is kind of a meme. You do have room for one meme. I do not think Feast works for you because you're not killing that many creatures. So I think we just Gisa, drop. Sack this. We get 5 black mana. We get 5 black mana. We have 2 copies of her. We can play these 2 just to spend our mana. Draw for Monarch. And now we can Kindred Dominance and try to beat people to death. Or we can play this and hope that we get it. But like this is the point where we really would have preferred to have sacrifice based card draw rather than the options that we did have for card draw. Oh, why am I getting done? I'm so sorry, Jobot. I play against Ratatouille so often on Arena that I am just so used to seeing token doublers. I assumed that the commander made 2 tokens. All right, here we go. And now we... Oh, actually, so we would have played Hourglass of the Lost rather than Maxton, and then we can play Ratatouille. And... I guess we search for a legendary, and we do something and win. But if we didn't have this, I think our best option is Blade of Selvzing. And I think that Graveborn Muse is pretty alright. I'm not convinced about this Liliana. What does she do? Everybody discards. Recur 1 thing. I think this Liliana is win more, but she might be... You have a lot of win more cards. You have a lot of cards that only do things when your commander is already doing the thing, and not enough things that get your commander to the point of doing the thing. So if we're keeping the Vecna meme, I would say We Ride at Dawn is definitely a win more card. I would say Kaya the Inexorable. You're keeping this mainly for the Candyland world of its ultimate going off, and you probably don't want to be picking things around that. I would say Nim Deathmantle, and then the 4 of these. So that's 7 cuts we have so far. And then Feast of the Victorious Dead. So that's 8. I think Pontiff of Blight. This is the most like, now here, everywhere else, I'm with you. Here, this is random fucking life gain. This is just random. If I have a lot of creatures, I will extort a lot, and you will probably have a fair number of creatures, but you won't have enough for this to be worth 6 mana. So that'll be cut number 9. I think Cemetery Reaper is pretty weak as far as your banners go, so that's 10. I'll let you keep Menace as a personal gift to you, but I would say with those 10 cuts, add 2 or 3 lands and make the rest things that let you sacrifice something for value. Or maybe like 2 to 3 lands, 5 cards that let you sacrifice something for value, and then like 1 or 2 more low mana legendaries to get stuff on the field sooner. And where do we put your deck? All right, Jobot. I don't think you're sponsored by EDA Trek. I think you did try to do a thing. We certainly got lost along the way with this Vecna meme. I think I'm going to say this is a little bit of Minecraft creative mode, specifically because of how many things you have that do a lot after you have already achieved the main gimmick of the deck. I think you have so much downstream benefit of having achieved your deck's primary gimmick, and what you need is stuff that will get you to the gimmick faster. So for now, it's Minecraft creative mode. Good luck with it. I think you have legs here. And then you have the improvements. We're going to move on to ZesReal's deck, which is spooky. The friend of mine who got me into Magic originally and then later taught me Commander after I got back from college via Emrakul, the Aeon's Torrance's commander, is visiting me from out of state next month, and I want to show him what a great friend he is for teaching me by countering all his stuff. The main goals on the deck are to staple a bunch of equipment and enchantments to give Ojutai Vigilance and Double Strike and go for a Voltron win, and his combat damage trigger is to filter and draw to double it up to find counters and board wipes to control the board. The deck in one word is countering. So I think tentatively, even though this isn't stacks, you're still going to go on the list, but we will look over the deck and countering makes me feel good. If there's something strange in your neighborhood, who are you going to call? Counterspell. $900, 35 lands, very reasonable. So you have an expensive commander, and we are relying on it being hexproof, it getting vigilance, and it swinging. So double strike to double the combat damage trigger. Oh, Sonic TT, thank you for the Prime sub for the 2nd month in a row. Welcome to the dog home. I appreciate those Bezos bucks. We have some equipment, move around shit. We have goddamn Rhystic Study and Rhystic Buddy for no goddamn reason. Vigilance, Trample, Haste. That's pretty good. How's it going down there is the funniest goddamn thing ever. Item Horde Cataloger, 11 counter spells, Lifelink, Pitfall Traps, Protection, okay. Pump it. So this is like ramp more than pump it, just because +1/+1 isn't very much. Okay, so based on what you told me the goal of the deck is, we want to do a Voltron win. The main way we are protecting this guy is by giving him vigilance, which the deck does not seem to be doing very much of. I think I saw 2 or 3 ways to give stuff vigilance. I think... Oh, 8. I'm wrong as fuck. This is not... Does the equipment give vigilance? Okay. The equipment does give vigilance. So I think 8 ways is enough, so long as we have some card draw. I think you are overmuch on the life gain. I think life gain is generally a coward strategy, as a tool for people who think it's possible for them to die. I'm going to retract that statement because it's only 4. I think I confused its number with something else. You're fine with the amount of life gain you have because, let's see. I think losing Hexproof and Indestructible is good. I think giving Unblockable is really good. So I think the secondary things to Lifelink qualify why they have Lifelink. I do not like the... I don't like the Goldforge Thopteryx or the Empyrean Eagle, or I think there was one more like this. I don't like the stuff that is... Oh, now my commander has Ward 2. I think Ward 2 is the most meaningless line of text that has pretty much ever been printed, especially when your commander is expensive and for you is the cornerstone of your entire strategy. People are gonna kill it. Removal costs $2. Making it cost $4 is probably not going to stop them. I also don't like Warden of Evos Isle because the only creature you really care about with this is your commander. Like, a Mana Rock is better. A Mana Rock is better than this because you have other things that you can... because it's going to let you cast all of your other artifact stuff or enchantment stuff or instant stuff. Imriath is fine. I think the card draw addiction is okay. I do think you need... You're very all in. Let's play test it and see how it feels. It looks like you are very all in on drawing cards through Ojutai's ability, and betting on your 5 mana commander coming through and hitting is always a little bit dicey. So we will, well, we'll Stoneforge, we'll Soul Ring Stoneforge, and then what was the shit that gave Vigilance, Haste, Trample? Was it a cloak? Yeah, Haunted Cloak. So we'll put Haunted Cloak onto the field, or into our hand. We'll Plains. We'll Ojutai. It's hexproof. We'll Haunted Cloak equip. Pop 'em. Top 3. So it's 1 to hand, rest to bottom. We will certainly take Psych Rift to hand. Next turn. Pay the 3 because fuck it. Mind Stone. And then I think we Bastion Protector and just repeat it. Duelist Heritage for sure. So that one worked, but Soul Ring fixes everything. So I am going to make you run it back. We have Rhystic Buddy. We have goddamn Stoneforge Mystic again. And we'll say that we're doing cloak shenanigans again. Okay, and now we are a little bit stuck. If anybody has decided to not pay for, or if people are just not paying for Esper Sentinel, we can do that. Get an MDFC, and I guess have that out. And then here, if the Empyrean Eagle was just a land, we would love him more. So turn 7, we get to do our commander. Turn 8, we get to swing our commander, and then we can start doing stuff. By now, the Eldrazi have eaten your butt. Okay, well, Wayfarer. And then, hopefully, by our turn 3, this will be activatable. We will Island. Hopefully, by turn 4, this is activatable. And then we're going to end up dumping the hand size. So that one, we kind of get fucked. We don't. You have an MDFC, so I will let you have this bounce land. You super don't need it. We'll just bounce this to hand. We'll get the sword. We'll scry. Yes, we want that. We get to untap. We'll drop. We don't have a Vigilance Giver yet, so we'll probably drop the Vigilance Giver. So now this has Vigilance. Yeah, across all these playtests, the things that feel the worst are these like minor tax effects. I think that especially if you are playing against an Eldrazi player, you know what an Eldrazi player is gonna be able to do? They're gonna be able to pay 2 colorless mana to swing Ulamog at you. If they were playing Azalesk, who is the go wide Eldrazi commander, I would say that you're onto something with not wanting them to be able to swing the 1 million different Eldrazi shitters at you. But if they're on like big ramp Eldrazi deck, I think these are memes. I think Windborn Muse is the same. So these 3 you can get rid of. I think Jubilant Skybonder. Like you're trying to nickel and dime people that have wallets that are the size of our houses, right? They have bedrooms at banks. They own hedge funds. And so asking them to get through 1 Tithe effect is not very much, and you do not seem like you have a reliable way to make them fight through all of these Tithe effects at the same time. And so I would just focus on things that fuck them up, basically. I would drop this whole package, and I would like straight up, you want to be hateful? Boom. Nice Eldrazi. Like, this is Psych Rift, but everybody at the table instantly loves you. Because there's always somebody that needs to get Psych Rifted. But when you Psych Rift, everybody goes, now you're the bad guy because you are the only person with a board state that still exists. River's Rebuke is like, hey, would you guys like it if I just dealt with the problematic player right now? Would you like it if we sent them back to the Stone Age and then hit them with hammers? I can do that for us. So I would say like River's Rebuke, raise the Palisade, because they're gonna be vomiting value at you, and you don't need forever. You do not need to be. So you're a registered stacks offender right now. You don't need to be that forever. You need to be that for 3 turns while your double striking and or vigilant and or buffed commander beats them to death, because you just need to count to 21. And so if you can make them spend 1 or 2 turns just rebuilding the shit they've already done, more board wipes and bounce, specifically anything you can make one-sided. Because if you go all board wipes, you want to create as few conditions necessary for your victory as possible. And right now your conditions, if you use a board wipe, you have a condition of my commander needs to be indestructible. I need to have drawn one of the ways to make them indestructible. Raise the Palisade, unconditional. Whether or not you have your commander out, this is going to work to set your opponents back. And if you have your commander out, you can pick Elder Dragon. And if anybody else has an Elder Dragon on the field, good on them. Or if you, so I would look for one-sided or targeted or like, this is good both as a protection piece and a spot removal piece. Like, you don't need to kill stuff. You need stuff to be kept at bay for a minute until you can hit them with hammers. So I would say stuff like that. And I would cut the Warden. I would cut that package of enchantment stuff, and I would add in those one-sided. Oh, I thought Elder Dragon was a type. If Elder and Dragon are separate types, then just pick Elder, and if they have AARP members, they got you. Overall, I like it. I think it is appropriate vengeance on somebody who taught you how to play with Eldrazi and is bringing back Ulalek. But yeah, I think protect yourself a little less, bother them more. We got personal questions from Yubi and Pikapuff. Yubi, what do you think? I think that was, what do I think of Mystic Remora versus the other card draw spells? I like it more than, I like Mystic Remora more than Rhystic Study and Esper Sentinel, aka Rhystic Buddy, aka John Longshanks, aka Vanilla Lightning. Because Mystic Remora you eventually have to give up on. I think those effects are super generic value pieces, and the more I play Magic, the more I get tired of super generic value pieces. But Mystic Remora at least goes away, and it can't define the entire game for you, whereas Rhystic Study and Rhystic Buddy can. And then Pikapuff, well, Pikapuff asked 11 minutes ago, what's my go-to build in Elden Ring? Strength, Dexterity, or Magic? Strength is normally Strength or like Bleed if I'm having a really hard time. We're going to move on to FLCLRock's deck, which is scary. Never played Comp, but if I gutted all my cards from my other commander decks to optimize my favorite deck, this is what it would look like. Just here to hear you say you would hate to play against it, and what cards should always be in a side deck. deck is optimized. Let's see what you got, FLCL. Optimized Timmy. Jesus Christ, it's a joke. If I built the best thing I could, it would be one twink trying to host a party. Better deal with the opponent's board some. I like Urza's Ruinous Blast and Blasphemous Act the most out of all of these. Merciless Eviction, I feel like if you're paying 6 mana, you can find something that you can make one-sided. And you super do not want to wipe the whole board. There's two types of players. The people that are begging to draw farewell and the people that are begging that nobody draws farewell. And you are the people begging for nobody to draw farewell. I feel like most of your stuff is so expensive that you would just straight up prefer Austere Command. Because it's also modal. This doesn't hit Planeswalkers, but you hit so fucking hard you probably don't care against them. Don't kill my commander, please. I'm gonna keep it so real with you, Chief. This is the worst possible way I've seen to protect your commander. I do understand the alt. Like, she flies in the deck. It's worth. So I'm assuming it's multi-tagged. Oh, can't Austere with the companion. I am not convinced that the companion is worth it. Redeem the lost. Oh, that's pretty clever. Level 1 shrimps. Rapid fire. Alright. So we can sack this guy. Ivy is very questionable. I'm down with Jensen. I am probably not down with Kalain. Down with Ruby. I'm down with Rona. I'm not down with Kari Zev. Animar, yes. Glowin, yes. Kethis, yes. Kuth, yeah, god damn it. Whenever you activate an ability that isn't a mana ability. How many non-mana abilities do we have? So we need non-mana abilities. Okay, so oh, here just for flying. Yeah. Oh, flying Death Touch Lifelink, sure. Sisse, yes. Sergeant John Benton, yes. Selvala, sure. I hate Helena and Elena so much. I hate her so much. Odric, Radadrabric, that makes sense. Shanid, yes. Zixara. I feel like Zixara is just here as a legendary mana dork, but that might be good enough. Arvad is in all of these. Elish Norn. Do you really have ETBs? I see a ton of cast triggers. I think of your... Yeah, I think you have these two... Our commander trigger is doubled. That's super not true. This is a... I think that's a cast from hand trigger, which is not a ETB trigger. Because permanence entering the battlefield is not what's causing the Joda shit to happen. No. Casting and entering the battlefield triggers distinctly different. So the things like you will double. Oh, so Okay, so I will concede to you, if this worked the way your table had been ruling it worked, yeah, this is fucking crazy. If it worked that way, this is the craziest goddamn shit that a Jobot deck could ever do. So I will not hold it against you that you guys did not recognize it, because the Magic rules are often very dumb. I will leave it at these two do not work how you think it does. Cast triggers and enter the battlefield triggers are different things. Elesh Norn does work with Atraxa Unifier, but these two only work with Atraxa Unifier, Kalane, and that is it. So the things that say whenever you cast A, those do not get doubled by Elesh Norn and Yarok. And I get on my knees and I thank God every single day that they do not. I do think for 9 mana, I think this guy you would just rather play an Eldrazi. I understand I understand being attracted to the emerge costs. I think every situation you would play that guy in, you would rather play Ulamog. Mana Crypt, of course, fuck you. Timeless Lotus, of course, fuck you. Now, Annie Joins Up works the way you think it does. You can replace, as people in chat are saying, you can replace Elesh Norn with Roaming Throne, and that will do what you think it does. What you want to copy is triggered abilities in general, just not enter the battlefield. Not optimized, but I like them too much. I'm with you. These cards rip ass. These are very cool. You are not missing anything on Double Major. It is super dog shit. This is just... Or super dog shit in the sense that I hate playing against it. You just need a lot of mana to make it happen. But yeah, it's very good for you. I don't think you need this shit. You just want a board full of assholes. You do not need that. Primevals make sense. Put all non-land permanents. I think this is really expensive to check the top 3 cards of your deck when you have access to 5 colors. Heroic Intervention makes sense. Oh, these are all side. Oh, these are sideboard. I think Heroic Intervention makes the most sense. And past that, it is awful. You have a great number of solidly awful things in here. If you resolved Kutsil, like if we were playing on Brawl, the moment you resolved Kutsil against me, I am leaving. I'm getting the fuck up out of there. The lowdown things that I don't think you have enough synergies to, or I think like you could find better shit. I think Karizev, Ivy, Kalane, you can just find better things. You do not have enough ways to make treasure for Kalane's thing to really go off. You do not have enough targeters for Ivy to go off. Karizev is just monkey, which is nice, but don't do it. I do think Unblockable can be very valuable for you, and so you can keep the dog. You also, I did not see a lot of ramp or card draw. Kalane is there to get Giganta out one turn sooner. I remain questioning Giganta. I really think you can add more to the deck by not playing Giganta than you do by just having the fixing. Because if you just have like Chromatic Lantern, if you have the World Tree, if you have that one really slutty Dryad, yeah, that guy. If you have the mega horny Nymph, you can fix your mana, and I think the sheer number of fucked up legendaries you get access to as soon as you can have more than one pip are so good that it's worth it. So I would rebuild with those two things in mind. You do have a number of like I hate you cards. Like Dahada would make me so fucking angry. Or God, Animar. Or Sisay. Or Kutzil. Or like a solid 70% of this deck makes me want to scream. And then like 30% of it I question. So I'm going to say right now, I think it's Minecraft Creative because it functions primarily off of cheats with the way that your table has been ruling Yarok and Elish Norn. But I think it can reach amazing new heights. We're going to move on to Rick Dom's silly deck. This deck needs help. I built it to win through alternate win cons. Savra's sack ability is supposed to help with that by lightly controlling the board to give me time. However, as it currently plays, some of the time it does nothing. Most of the time it puts my opponents in a death grip so unfun they scoop or beg me to attack. I need help adjusting this so I'm winning the way I want to win and hostage the game a little less. The deck in one word is broken. Alright, gang. Put your nice caps on. We're doing surgery. Pesticide poisoning. Damn, she bad. Alright, so when you sacrifice, you get stuff. Either the thing you get is the unhappiness of your friends, or you gain life. Now, you said the way you wanted to win. Alright, win cons. Epic Struggle. If you have 20 creatures, you win. Helix Pinnacle. If you spend $100, you win. Mortal Kombat. If your graveyard's full, you win. Revel in Riches. If you have 10 or more treasures, you win. Millennium Calendar. Sometimes you just win. Evil Edna, it is a Patreon redeem which can be accessed in Twitch chat through !roast. Also, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Now, I'm going to go pee again, so I'll be right back. Please don't bid on my chair. God damn it, you guys. Okay. 180. That's 170 more dollars than has ever previously been bid on this chair. All right, so if the problem is we're too good at keeping everyone else down and we're too good at we're keeping everybody else down and we have overwhelming board presence before we have our silly alternate win cons. So Defense of the Heart. What is this? Tokens? Let's start from our win cons. I think Millennium Calendar is inherently a meme. If you want, like, all of these, obviously all of these win cons are winning off of different stuff, but if there was any win con that I would say the whole deck should be focused on this, I would say it's the Millennium Calendar. And so Millennium Calendar is the one we're going to leave alone. Is like, if it happens, it happens. We're not going to try to force this any type of way. So with Revel in Riches, Mortal Kombat, Helix Pinnacle, and Epic Struggle, the thread that connects those four things is we want to sacrifice. We want to fill our graveyard with our own creatures in return for treasures and other creatures. And so one way to do that is we can make tokens when they die, we can make treasures when they die, or we can make tokens or treasures when they enter the graveyard in the first place. And so that to me sounds like old Rutstein, because that's going to get stuff into our graveyard and it's going to create treasures and it's going to create bodies. This man, this is peak performance. You may not like it. This is the hottest our deck can get. We would also really love Ghoul Caller Gisa, but for really big creatures that we have. We would also probably be pretty down with can't remember exactly what the name of this card is. Army of the Damned. Now, if we look at what your deck is actually doing, this is Tend the Pests. Very good. We are sacrificing our creatures to create more creatures. Tutor is fine. Worm Harvest is good. Sedgemoor Witch, we're making creatures. Parallel Lives, we're doubling tokens. Izoni makes sense. Grist, I am not sold on. I think Grist, you have to do work to flip it. And then when you flip it, you have done all this work for the immediate payoff to be a 1/1. Like, it does still do the theme, but I don't think it does it good enough for how much work it takes. I think Creekwood Liege can also probably go. This is a good effect to make the tokens, but this is like on your upkeep, you make a 3/3, and it does not drive us towards any win con other than Epic Struggle, and it is better at winning through combat than it is at winning through Epic Struggle. So to me, this is like, right now, this is the poster child for cards that are forcing you to win without using the win cons you've said you want to. I think Blightmound is similar, but maybe acceptable. Troper, have a good night. Thank you for coming by the stream, and I will see you Friday, my friend. Amzu, you super don't need. We don't want things leaving our graveyard. This is like, at best, an insurance policy, but we also we don't want things leaving our graveyard on a regular basis, and that is what Amzu is good at capitalizing on. So in this list, I would say, or in this section, I think Grist, Creekwood, and Amzu all go. For removal, I would say fuck removal, be the problem. I don't think you need Vraska the Unseen. That's funny. I think Pest Infestation works with what you're trying to do. I don't know what this card is. I think Garruk is like, it's too expensive. It's too expensive for what we're trying to do. And the most likely outcome, like, if everything goes perfect for you, you give everything 3/3 and trample, and then people are begging you to just kill them instead of doing the goofy shit. So if you like, if we want this reworked to do the goofy shit, you cut Garruk as well. I do also honestly question this mass recursion, or sorry, I question the 1x1 recursion for a deck where the things that really matter are enchantments. I think you need recursion, but I think the recursion you need is, hey, Brother Bear, can I have one of my permanents back, please and thank you? Like, the angle I would want to go for this deck is aggressive self-mill plus a little bit of get any non-land permanent back. And so there's also Rise of the Witch King is what I'm looking for here. This does play into slowing the board down a little bit, but you can get any permanent back. FLCL, have a good night. Get better from the cold. The stream VODs will include Twitch chat history. It doesn't include YouTube chat. It doesn't include TikTok. Thank you for coming by. NoobTube, I'm glad you enjoyed the Emoti video. I think they have Lich Knight's Conquest. Yeah, like Blood Money works with Revel in Riches. Would Honest Rutstein be good here? I am unconvinced. So we have a ton of ramp. I think the ramp only matters. Ooh, Deathbloom's good. Also, the Count Rost von Kiss, thank you very much for looking out for my health with that water redeem. And happy birthday, my friend. Happy birthday. I think you're... Let me tell you who a better source of ramp is. Where's this bitch? So when Hazel of the Root Bloom drops, you're either going to be making treasures or you're going to be making creature tokens. And so to win with Helix Pinnacle, you really need to shit mana. You need to make, like, Golden Throne, like 3 mana's not doing it. you are, to win with Helix Pinnacle, you are worrying about your free throws when you need to be hitting full court buckets. And so I would get rid of the worst individual pieces of this ramp, which I think is Llanowar Dead, Golden Throne, and Culling the Weak. And I would get Warren Soul Trader. Because that's how we're going to get some treasures going in the first place. You're going to get Hazel. And then Ayar is fine. I don't think you have you don't have artifacts you care about getting back. And like something in this deck has to be replaced with Mesmeric Orb. So that you have a chance in hell of winning with Mortal Kombat. Like, how many creatures do we have in this deck? $24. So for 80% of the creatures in your whole deck need to be in the graveyard for Mortal Kombat to win. And so if you don't want to put in a lot more creatures, you have to put in a lot more self-mill, because that is the only world in which you are getting there. I also think Vat of Rebirth is wasted because there aren't there are very few individual creatures that you really, really super badly want back. The things you need back are your enchantments, and then there are a lot of things we can do to support those enchantments. I think this guy's a little bit of a meme. Like, you still need to stay up on creatures. So maybe this is who you cut for Rutstein. Eternal Witness would be good, yes. Yeah, Braids is fine. Ayar is fine. Yawgmoth good. Vraska good. Downside, and I'm happy to see you too, my friend. Yeah, I think you have I think you have a whole lot of stuff that is concerned with flooding the board with creatures, and you don't have enough things that are concerned with and it's not even like flooding the board in a way that, or you're obsessed with sacrificing things because that's what your commander is doing. Your commander is just there as garnish to these 5 cards. And to get to these 5 cards, you probably want, like, Pillage the Bog. Even though this doesn't go to the graveyard, just getting access to stuff. Mulch. Like, all of this is going to be achieved through, like, Epic Struggle. You can win through a combination of tokens and mass reanimation. Helix Pinnacle, you can do, like, Hazel of the Root Bloom. Or, like, Cryptolith Rite after you've gone wide. Revel in Riches, I honestly think you get there is the easiest to get to. And so we need to stop worrying about making our board imposing. No, Insidious Roots is the opposite of what we want to add. Insidious Roots is going to... We don't want things leaving our graveyard unless they are leaving our graveyard to win us the game on the spot with, or like in a turn cycle with Epic Struggle. So like Living Death is fine. Living Death is hot. it's Sheoldred Whispering One, Dread Return, Vat of Rebirth, Victimize, and Lich Knight's Conquest. Or no, Lich Knight's Conquest is fine. Victimize, Vat of Rebirth, Sheoldred, and Dread Return. These like one-off grab one creature I think should be replaced with grab enchantment. So Rick Dom, that's the best advice I can give you in our limited time together. I hope that it goes a little bit better, and if you want me to take a look over the finished product again, let me know. We're going to move on to Znifert. Also, Frozen954, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. I appreciate those Bezos bucks. The downside, if you are still around, what username are you under? Oh yeah, you want this cheating bastard. Hold on. This guy just wins the game for you. But yeah, I do love trying to win with a bag of random tricks. So I will say right now, modern art should be the downside. I don't think you are tonight, my friend. If you've been scheduled, it will be in your email. If you have not been emailed, then you have not been scheduled yet. There's 4 decks remaining. You are the 4th. If we need to move you up, let me know. So we're on Znifert. So it's going to be Znifert, Karma, Huga, then you. So right now you're in Modern Art. I think you can get to National Treasure. Star, thank you for coming by the stream, and thank you for that Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Yeah, I think you can. You've probably got like 40 to 50 minutes before you're up. I'm going to try to make it 30, but you have at least 30 minutes. Oh, Brooke, what's up, bitch? Do you not like my deck categories? All right, so Znifert says they have a spooky deck. The last time I made a tree-themed deck, turning creatures into lands and had multiple infinites, which was a very haha whoops moment. I think I've avoided that issue this time, and instead of turning people into trees, I'm making trees that are people. Dryad Arbor is one of my favorite cards and is my favorite turn 1 play. Green Sun Zenith for 0. The commander makes legally distinct Dryad Arbors on ETB, so clearly instead of investing heavily into flicker effects, I'm repeatedly sending my commander back to the command zone to recast them for more trees. Because caring about how many times you cast your commander is a fun mechanic, I swear. Ideally, I generate enough trees to pay for commander attacks every time, along with a whole 1 cost reduction effect, and eventually I want to use some flavor of Craterhoof to make everyone else go missing on a hike. Well, I love the primer. I love the primer. Star, the deck reviews are a Patreon redeem, which you can access via !roast in the Twitch chat. Please turn on the tags. I spent time coming up with them. So, Jyoti, if you can make this deck functional, I will be impressed, because this commander is dog shit. When they ETB, make a Forest Dryad land. For each time you've cast your commander from the command zone. At the beginning of combat, you board buff, where X is Jyoti's power. So I guess if you're not going for make Jyoti strong, just make a billion. Makes sense. Evil Edna, what is your scheduled date? The commander tax is mean. We're just gonna copy Myth Unbound to hopefully negate commander tax entirely. Don't pet wild animals. Finding a specialist. Yeah, Finale of Devastation makes sense to me. Fitness routine. Hold on. These are Dryad Arbor, Forest. So it wouldn't work with Avenger of Zendikar. Staff of Titania. Yeah, alright, I got you. Grove Tender. Yeah, all the fucking counter make one. Instead, I would like to please make 1 billion of these. Keep off the grass. Logging revenue. I like Commander's Insight. I think this is one of the not the very first, but this is one of the first cards that has like really been gimmick dependent. I think Curiosity Crafter is pretty good. I love Excavation. This card is fucking hilarious. Good stuff, good stuff. More than just a forest. It's a forest that can tap for any color. So my question is why? Oh, Evil Edna. So when you fill out the form, you don't go on the day you fill out the form. You will get emailed with a day that your roast is happening. And that is why the form says list every date that you could be roasted. So like right now, I'm going to be scheduling more after this stream finishes. So anyway, if they're already forests, like how much blue do you have that you need to make blue? Mulch. Behemoth. Earth Surge. Concordant Crossroads. I feel like you want Kamal. So lots of land creatures. We want a ton of lands. Seeding the Grove. I am not big on Greater Good because you don't have a lot of very powerful. So, Duality of Man. Duality of Man. I'm so up on Evolutionary Leap. I'm so not up on Greater Good. I also don't think Drowned Rusalka is a good enough payoff. Because, like, most of the things you want to... If you want your commander to go back to the command zone, just Cloudstone Curio and bounce him and then choose to put him in the command zone instead of your hand. And then print this card out at your local Costco. Yeah, we have notably not seen a Helm of the Host, which I think if we have doubling season in this deck, we are well past calling ourselves too good to use Helm of the Host. So let's get an island. Nature's Lore. Sure. We're going to pretend this is a forest just for the purposes of making the playtesting not take 8 years. So we do this. We make one mañana. I mean, I guess we would do this and then play this, so that we'd make a second one of these. And then next turn... Well, I mean, we're almost here, so we can play this in Genesis, and then if it's in the top 4... Okay. And then Now our case is solved. So we can play lands and cast creature spells. So we do this and then we flicker him. 2 more. Oh yeah, how do I perma reveal the top card of the deck? There we go. Alright, so now our land creatures have vigilance, but that doesn't really matter. I think what matters is... Yeah, now they're 3/3s, and now we can do something. And I guess every turn we can Thassa's. And so with enough 3/3s, something works out. So that, then that, then that, then that, then that, and I mean, boom. Then next turn. All right, so we have Mr. Hoof. We play this. We move him around. This case is solved, so we can play with the top revealed. But we have Kodama's Reach. We would get another one because we flicker this guy again. Ooh. Yeah, this feels a little bit awkward because we don't have... Like, eventually we do... If nobody touches us, we win because we have Craterhoof Behemoth. But yeah, something's a little stinky in the neighborhood. So I think that in terms of you can do better, we can all do better. I think you can definitely do better than Retreat to Kazandu. I think Curiosity Crafter is a little bit of a jokester. And let me tell you why. I think they are a jokester because at the point where you are willing to swing your Dryad tokens that you're making, you are probably killing people. Motherfuckers aren't going to let 1/1s through after turn 2. And most of your things that want to make your creatures big enough to be worth swinging are killing everybody. And so I do think that Biden Athasa would be better, but you're really low on creatures. Like, you would be better off not with Harmonize, good God, but yeah, I think that's a little bit of a jokester. I do like Skull Clamp. What's this curve look like? A relatively okay curve. I think my biggest problem with the deck is you don't have a lot of gas to perform your stated gimmick. Like, you say you want your commander going back to the command zone over and over to make this shit happen. How many ways do we have to do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that number should be 10 if you want to guarantee that it's going to happen. I hate to say it, but where is food chain? You've kind of hit the nail on the head. This is, honestly, since nothing else combos with it, like, I would let you resolve a food chain in this deck. It's a it's a very weak commander. And I think at 5 effects to send my commander back to the command zone, that is, you are not going to reliably draw one in a game of commander. And if it's the stated gimmick you want to be playing around, I think you need enough that you are going to for sure draw at least one. Food chain plus Crater Hoof wins immediately. Okay, so walk me through it. So if we sack the commander, we make 5. We sack the Dryad that it made. Oh, right, it makes one for every time you've cast it. Yeah, never mind. I wouldn't let you resolve food chain. Redact the comment. I forgot the second half of your deck's gimmick. Put that shit away. So we don't need food chain. You just tap the Dryad for mana. They are affected by summoning sickness, my sibling in Adonalcium. But either way, you could sack them and then just stop the loop at the point when you've like, I've cast my commander 1,000 times. I make 1,000 1/1s. I sacrifice, Jobot in 3 of them, and I cast Crater Hoof, and you die. So anyway, I think that you need Seeding the Grove to be up to 10. If you tell me that you are breaking max hand size often, I don't believe you after those playtests. So maybe those can go. I'm not sure you need as much ramp as you think you need just because your commander ramps you a little bit. Like, your commander is already ramping you a little bit. I think you would be better off with the tools to make them do the thing you want them to do. Because, like, Myth Unbound... Hey, Myth Unbound is good for you. So, like, things that will draw you into Myth Unbound or things that will draw you into one of these engines or even just a better engine, that is where I would be putting my emphasis. I'll tell you what, Aether Barrier would be a funny as fuck way. If you want to move over to Registered Stacks Offender immediately, Aether Barrier would really do it for you. A lot of the ramp is to fix my pips. I mean, well, Sniper, let me pour this sugar on you. Since your commander makes forests, why not be on like 17 islands and 7 forests? Like, based on the playtesting, it seems pretty unlikely that you don't get at least 1 green pip. And if you are low on blue pips, you have a lot of basic lands, so either put in more non-basic dual lands or just change the balance of basics to be island heavy. And then bing bang boom, you're done. And then play Aether Barrier. Because then you not only do your gimmick, but you stop the goddamn token players from running all over everybody. This commander is for Jobot. I mean, Birthing Ritual would also go pretty hard for you. Because you have enough creatures that you're going to hit one. And then it's like, boom, I sack my commander. I get some type of value. They have Skull Clamp already. Oh, creature spell? Well, fuck it. Do it anyway. They have Cryptolith right, Milkman. I would agree with that, Yubi. I do think the if you control 20 creatures, you just win is certainly... This deck is the deck it was made for. I don't think you want Rishkar's expertise because we don't have a lot of really strong... We don't have a lot of really big creatures. Aiden Knott, thank you for coming through. I have not done a video on Wilson yet. Yeah, Disciple of Freyalise would also suck for you. Mana Vortex. Are they see, the thing is Jobot is not a land creature. Like, I think you can do this to try to shoot people in the dick. But this is mainly just a dick shooter card, and I don't think this deck needs help dick shooting. I think this deck needs help making sure its thing goes off. And I really think, like, I think it is on the edge of functional. I think the only thing it needs is, see, like, again, we have a hand. Sylvan Library will probably save this playtest. But what we need is... Right now, we're on Commander Mana. We are also on 0 ways to make sure that our commander... To do our commander poop job. So we have this guy. And we have his token. And then... So we'll put these back, keep the fetch land, play Tatyova, land mana, draw, land mana, draw. So we have 2 mana, Prismatic Omen, draw, dump this, and now we're Tatyovaing all over them, and we can spend a lot of money, but all the money we're spending isn't doing... the thing we said we wanted to do, which was recast Jobot over and over and over again. And now at turn 7, we've finally gotten to the first one. And now we can hit fucking Rusalka. And so now we can sack him, dump this forest, draw this forest, recast him, But we don't have Myth Unbound. So we're not going to be able to do this. Oh, wait, we might be able to because we're going to get instant mana from Lotus Cobra. So I think we might have gone... Did we go infinite? No. Because we're not sacking to replace their base mana cost. This is just taking the edge off. So yeah, I think you lack a consistent engine, but you've built a cool car that I would like to see driven. And so for now, I'm going to say Minecraft creative mode, because you do need to cheat a little bit for it to work. But I believe in what you have presented to me as the gimmick, and I want to see it more consistent. All right, we're moving on to Karma's deck, which is Spooky. This is an attempt to make a high-powered deck using my two favorite win cons, Mill and Poison. The deck in one word is toxic. This, I hope, is beautiful. Radiation poisoning. Oh, Jesus, it's Mothman. Off the rip, I will say, I would anticipate this deck to fall into the same hole that... Which user was it? That Rick Dom's deck fell into, which is, yes, you can do Mill. Yes, you can do Poison. It is probably just going to be a worse version of using Mothman's innate ability to kill people with hammers. So bring it back. This is put 4 things from our graveyard back to our library. I think in Sultai, this is, we can do better. I think Infect Recursion, sure. Oversold Cemetery, sure. Season of Renewal, yeah. Yeah, like this Recursion I'm down with. Oh, 11 in draw. You know how to please me. Yeah, I am with basically all of these card draw engines. Get rid of it. Down. I'm getting through. Yeah, Beastmaster Ascension is fucked up. Dolmen Gate makes sense. Flatline is honestly horrid. 34 lands I think is fine, especially for higher power. Okay, I think this is really just a 3-mana mana rock. 13 mil. We're going to come back, but I think these are the 13 cards that just don't work, and you're going to have to put them, you're going to have to Old Yeller a lot of these. Whenever a player mills a card, you gain 1 life. So this card says Death Touch. Whenever Glowing One deals combat damage to a player, they get 4 rad counters, and then the card is blank. Life Gain is a very poor mill payoff, unless you intend, because Life Gain doesn't help you win. Life Gain just helps you be a coward. Mald's hatred of Mill continues. I don't hate Mill. I'm just the one person in the world who loves Mill enough to accurately know how good it is as a win con, and it really struggles. It's really hard to mill these motherfuckers unless you hit the Bruvac gritty. Bruvac plus Maddening Cacophony. Wow, Mill's so crazy. Every other form of mill is a tough fucking time. And I would say your mill section is missing one of the single best mill cards in the game, but we will get back to it. This is a good mill payoff for sure. And I love Rad Roach. Poison. This creature can block creatures. I mean, just throwing down Infect on... Like, getting a bunch of Infect creatures and then saying, I'm going to put my 1/1 counters on the Infect creatures is great. A little bit of radiation. And I think these are the best rad counter cards. Ring Sight's good. Yeah, the tutors make sense if you're trying to do high power. They said I needed a life, so I'm taking yours. That is good. I don't think you need Exquisite Blood. I think life gain is both underrated and overrated. I think it's underrated in low power, and I think it's overrated when you want to be dry. Like, I think it's underrated in defensive decks, and it's overrated in offensive decks like this. Why is this a card? Yeah, Decimator Web's fucking crazy. So in terms of mill, I would say, now, Karma, you may have already conceptualized this. I think that your mill section is only useful as a tool to fuel your infect section. Your poison section is far more likely to lead to actual game wins than the mill section is. And so with that in mind, we want to be milling people before you swing with an infect creature. I think the worst mill cards are Curse of the Bloody Tome and Paranoid Delusions, as well as Thought Scour. I'm with you that the small bits of mill are for the commander. I think that if it's not... I think that since mill is playing second fiddle, if it's not hitting everybody, you probably don't want to do it. Like, you're probably better off on focusing on either universal mill, or if you want to win through poison and you want to play high power, Tainted Strike is better than every card in your mill section. And you can definitely keep most of these to fuel the 1/1 counters on your infect cards. But when Tainted Strike is better than every single card in the section, you can at minimum dump the worst card in the section for Tainted Strike. What is Sphinx's tutelage? I think Sphinx's tutelage, it's target. It is repeatable, but it is target, which I think is a little worse for you. 21 creatures, so we don't have a whole lot. Let's do the play testing to see what's going on. Okay, Prismatic Vista. Which actually, we'll wait one turn to see what we actually need here. So we need a swamp. Then we cultivate. Let's get another forest. Probably... Right now we need a second swamp. So now we can do this. We'll say we'll say he only gets one hit. Chromatic Lantern, glowing one, attack. Say he gets one hit. Now we have our Reaper. Oh, I needed to be milling for Mothman, yeah. Alright, we'll restart from the beginning and do it right this time. Then we'll 3 visits. Truly, I don't give a fuck. We're just going to get a land and say the mana's fixed. Next turn, Command Tower. Boom. Say we get one hit. We'll mill ourselves, get another hit. Now we have Viral Drake. We'll swing. Say we get one hit. Mill ourselves. Get another hit. We'll say somebody else mills 2. Oh, I draw then mill. God damn it, dude. We used Vraska's Fall. Who cares? So instead of Teferis, we would have drawn Mind Crank and this. Our commander probably dies. So like what I'm worried about right now is that we have one infect creature, and if it dies, our game plan has kind of drawn to a halt. And I'm not 100% that we have access to more good infect creatures. And so what I would say is, oh yeah, hold on, you need this. This card will, any game you draw this card, it will hold together the entire game for you. You can not only trigger Mothman, but you can get the fucking thing back for 1 mana. So I would replace one of your mill cards with that. I would get Tainted Strike. I would get Grafted Exoskeleton. I think that a lot of your infect creatures are weaker than just putting Grafted Exoskeleton on Mothman and letting him do the job. You definitely need Mesmeric Orb, as we said earlier, but thank you for reminding me, Sword Bro. And then I also think you need Hatred. Because this is, oh look, one of my infect creatures got through. Now you die. Oh yes, I would recommend Phyresis as well. So those are the swaps I would make. I would make basically all of the swaps from your mill section. And it may even behoove you to put in like no creature. I mean, Grisly Salvage. You would not hate getting an infect creature, but it is, I think, weaker than all the other things we've suggested. I don't think it's high power. or at least not what when I think of like, I do think it's spooky. I don't think it's scary, which is what most people associate with high power. So if you're aiming for spooky, I would say you've done the job, but you have a lot of turns of setting up, and then it's like, after I've been allowed to talk my shit, then I become very scary indeed. But it's not that quick, and I think if you want to accelerate it, the simplest way to accelerate it is to turn Mothman into an infect creature, because he has evasion, and his first round of counters are almost certainly going on him. We're gonna move on to Huga's deck, which is also spooky. This deck is an ode to why you never let your players bully you into experience-based leveling. Much like your first D&D campaign, everything will seem harmless until I finish my third dungeon, and suddenly you're staring down a pack of murder hobos with demigod-like power. The dungeon in this deck will be more run-through than someone at a fraternity party, and will bring more bogos than a mother of five at a grocery store to outvalue you at every turn. The deck is spooky because no one expects the dungeon diving deck to be scary. That's a lie. Hold on. Who do you... Every time I have said the word dungeon deck to somebody, your deck. Okay, so you are the one. So everybody in this game has somebody who teaches them about dungeon decks. It's like it's a canon event for Magic players, is to learn how fucking frustrating dungeon decks are. So if you're the teacher for your group, all right, I'm with it. I was trying to make a deck strong without moving away from the theme, and that was considered underpowered in my playgroup. Okay, so you're holding back on fast mana, tutors, and free spells, and then you're doing dungeon things. Of course it's Zephyrus. What it's like to play D&D by yourself. So we want to put stuff into our graveyard, preferably on our opponent's turns. So a lot of instants that can do it. If no mana was spent, okay, I will conservatively let you cook. Dungeons trigger additional times. Yeah. Triggers trigger additional times. Sure, this is the EDH rec section, which you can't really get away from. If you're gonna be on the theme, you're gonna be doubling your triggers. Chuck it in the bin, for sure. Yeah, there's ripples of undeath. I like Obsessive Stitcher. I like Tortured Existence. Don't worry, I picked Evocation. I didn't ask how big the room was. I love the tags. I hate the cards under the tags, but great tag. Oh wait, I still need these. Premium Adventures. So more ways to take the initiative. To adventure. So more venturing. Okay. Initial assessment. In your haste to make sure that you are completing these dungeons and that you are putting things into the graveyard to trigger your commander, it seems as though you have forgotten to include creatures worth reanimating. Like, I think initiative, like the initiative is good enough. Oh, wait, I need to include MTG. That I think Throne of the Dead 3. Oh, no, this is Venture into the Undercity. Take the... Is initiative Undercity? Yeah, it is Undercity. Okay. So Throne of the Dead 3 is good enough to semi-carry you, but even with 3+1/+1 counters on any of these cards, it's like you're doing all this to make... Haha! I have a 6-mana 7/7. Ah! And that's the sound of you getting killed by hammers as they play Craterhoof Behemoth. I have no doubt that your commander's ability goes off. I have severe doubts that you are reanimating stuff worth reanimating. Like you've built a closed loop of synergy around what your commander's trigger is. And I don't think you've built a way to break that loop and just sometimes you just gotta get people. I don't usually win on combat damage. Then how are you usually winning? Because that is... I drain the table. Oh, you loop Undercity and drain the table. Okay. So does this mean... So you're looping through Trap to win a game of Commander. So are you just looking for... Okay, so you're just trying to stack up... Oh yeah, this deck is fair as hell. Alright. I need to rework my brain a little bit for for the strength of the pod. We're gonna pretend that we're color fixed because this is a play test, so fuck it. We can't take the initiative with this, so we can do that. And then now we can take the initiative. So we can search for a basic land. Sure, who the fuck cares? Next turn, we'll say we move to the next thing. So Forge. We'll make this bigger so it doesn't die. And then we Ripples of Undeath. And then I think we win. Like, I think we just fucking win after we get Ripples of Undeath because this card is so good. Oh, and we play a basic land. So 1, 2, 3. We didn't hit a creature. We would like Malakir Rebirth back. We'll play... Or I guess we'll leave Malakir Rebirth out so that we can play Radiant Solar and just move into Trap. And then after that, 1, 2, 3... Really unlucky on our hits, my god. Teleportation Circle. Move through. Flicker this. Then I think we hit Throne off of that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think Dungeon Delver is the clearest way we get to our win con. Oh, I thought that was a guy. I thought that was a creature. I saw a little guy with a torch, and I was like, that's a dude. That's a dude. Alright, well, Ripples of Undeath, you definitely win the game here. Okay, I play Commander. I play this. I venture into the dungeon. Because my Plague Crafter died. I scry 1. Fuck this. Actually, no, I need that back. No! I'll take this land instead. So we kept the land on top the whole time. We take the initiative. Yeah, I think if taking the initiative is what makes the game work, I think far fewer of your cards are good than it seems. Chuck it in the bin. Yeah, discard's good. MDFC's fine. Do you have Mesmeric Orb? I think you did. You do not. All right. If you are gonna have this much recursion, I think you should have more aggressive self-mill. I think the number one bit that is lacking is that you say you usually have to mull to a working hand. Like, to get it going seems like it takes a little bit too much work, and the piece of it that matters, because like you do have like Sephiroth's trigger is not winning you this fucking game. It's Undercity is winning you this game, and specifically Undercity that you are doubling up is winning you this game. And if that's what's winning you the game, you need to play. And if you're winning the game with stuff that isn't in the command zone, you need to play around that really heavily. And you have a lot of ways to recur stuff, including your command zone. And so I would say you need more ways to get stuff, to just like not even get stuff into your graveyard optimally to trigger Sephiroth, just in totality, so that you can then rummage through it. So you can try to rummage through it, and there is a combo. There is some like infinite dungeons combo, but who gives a fuck? I did try to keep the deck more on theme, so I kept cards that I would have tossed otherwise. I'm with that, but I think you already have plenty of things that are off theme. Like, I think Baleful Strix is just, haha, creature draws a card. Like, Elish Norn is not a part of any theme. Elish Norn is just, oh, Radiant Solar is really fucking good, so I'm gonna double her trigger. And I think those, like, second degree, like, if you want to sell to me, this is theme only, then, wow, these triggers are good, I would like extra triggers, please. If that's on theme, it's on theme for, like, every deck ever. I don't think you have, like, too many super bad cards. And I think the ones you want to include aren't... Like, you don't have to include things that are off theme. Like, Mesmeric Orb isn't particularly off theme. Mesmeric Orb is just this bitch's head. And it fills your graveyard, which is on theme. So we're not saying take out things that are on theme for things that are off theme. I'm saying you have things that are on theme and bad, and you can have things that are on theme and good. I'm not certain that you would have a way to bargain reliably with this, but if you could bargain, like anything that's like, look at however many, like this is great for you. Moment of Truth, like anything that is going to, like, you need to work through this deck and you need to make sure you are finding the initiative as quickly as possible and then looking for BOGO. Yeah, Surveil would also work. So overall, I think it's good. But if you're going to be this heavy on reanimation, I think you need a fuller graveyard. Like, I think your chuck it in the bin section is not as powerful or not as reliable as you may think it is. Oh, we missed Karma's deck. I would say... It doesn't really fit these categories. I'm gonna have to change these a little bit. I'll say it smacks of Minecraft creative mode because it was like 6 turns of setup every time we play tested. Huga for you. I mean, it is EDHREC sponsored just because that is what dungeons force you to do. I think this is the same problem that your tag game is immaculate. I think you're having the same problem Siren had, where they had it with Spree, but you have it with dungeons, where they haven't done a lot of interesting stuff with dungeons, and so you are just fully utilizing everything that does exist, but so has every other person that has built a Zephyrus deck. But I think you certainly have something functional, like, is happening, but I think you are overestimating how full your graveyard's gonna be, and like Mesmeric Orb and a little more draw and discard would help you a lot. We're going to go P one more time and then do Huber Drakel's deck. Quick, Judge Nira before I'm back. Okay. Alright, haters. Let's see what Cube made. So cheap, pseudo-budget Nira deck. This deck needs a lot of work, and I know it. I'm stuck on a couple ideas. Play spells and get value based off them. Draw cards and ping, or cheat out big things. This is the first Is It deck I've made, and I don't usually run blue, so advice on things to cut out will be appreciated. So, 32. Alright, Brother Bear. You've asked for help. We're going to give you help. I'll be kind. Brother Bear, please pull your head out of your ass. You're never casting a 6-mana Is It commander on 6 lands. 32 lands. What the hell are we even doing? Better is what we need to do. Now, if you have 1,000,000 mana rocks, you can do low land count. I think with like 6 mana before the deck even starts doing it, I wouldn't. Now, Nira as your first Is It deck is interesting because Nira does stuff opposite from a lot of other Is It decks in that she wants to cast a spell only to say, never mind, instead I would like something else for free. So whereas most Is It decks do want all of these benefits from resolving multiple spells, Nira really just wants a lot of small throwaway spells and then a couple really big spells that they could otherwise never pay for, and then the top deck control to guarantee that they cheat out the right thing. So I actually don't mind this copying. I think it's a little hopeful to be this expensive, but copying means you get your original spell. You get your original spell and you get whatever you cheat out. I think all 11 of these you need to put back inside the Arby's dumpster because all of these want you to cast, or most of these want you to cast multiple instants and sorceries, and Nira does not do that. Nira does not spell sling, she spell thangs. She takes an abrade and turns it into a goddamn Ulamog. Del Noche, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Same goes for these prowess things. I don't think Harmonic Prodigy works with Nira because you don't have the spell a second time. So I would dump Prowess. Like, I would dump everything that is based around I'm going to cast a ton of spells a turn. The only version of this effect that I would include is what Kinmai has said, which is Displacer Kitten. Because this, you can flicker Nira, and then that once a turn thing gets broken. And then after that, let's close all these down. After that, what you want is anything that lets you... is anything that lets you put cards from your hand on top of your library in any order that you want. So like Brainstorm, Brain Surge, Brainstone kind of sucks. Scroll Rack is like is peak for this. And then there's a Jace that does the same thing. You want Mind Sculptor Jace, Leashling would be like, this is horribly inefficient. This is crazy inefficient and slow, but it does do what you want it to do. Riverwise Augur will also do it. There's Scroll Rack. So anyway, you keep looking through this list, but this is the stuff you want to do. You want to find something really expensive. Scroll Rack is very expensive, so you would want to just print that junk off. Now you can also gamble. Oh, Orcish Librarian, yeah, that would also do it. You can also gamble, but overwhelmingly what Nero wants to do is take crazy expensive thing, put crazy expensive thing on top of my deck, spend 1 mana, get crazy expensive thing. Now that crazy expensive thing, those are going to be your win cons. And so you can do, like, if you want to keep metallurgic summonings and say, I'm going to cheat out the world's most expensive instants and sorceries, fine. A lot of people do creatures. You can really do whatever you want. So first I would pick those. Pick the things you are going to be using tax fraud to achieve. Past that, you probably don't want that many counter spells, because you want things that will work with Nira. And if you have Nira out, the counterspell is unplayable. And so for the most part, you want to try and be the problem. Modal counterspells would be fine, yeah. If you did like, I can't remember, but there's a spree counterspell. Rawls Eric is useless. Yeah, 3 steps ahead. So Hullbreaker Horror, the deck should have like 10 of these. And then it should have like 10 of the cards that let you control the top of your deck, or as close as you can get to 10 of those cards. And you should cut like almost all 15 of these. I mean, Crystal Ball is like, yeah, Crystal Ball ain't bad. Or it's keepable. I think Johan is probably your worst version of this. I think Aqueous Form is also not a great version of this because it doesn't have other payoffs. Is Tidespout Tyrant in the deck? That's horrifying. If you want to do a more control list, yeah, put stuff like this guy in there. Ral Zarek looks like he's in here exclusively for his ultimate, and you do not want to be picking your planeswalkers just off their ultimate. Like, card draw is good. These 1 mana spells are good, but you want 1 mana instants. Like, you want to cast Shock like on your opponent's turn to cheat out something random, and you're going to do gambling cheating until you get to something really good like Tidespout Tyrant. But if we do, like, let's do a playtest. So we Soul Ring. We Crom. I'm going to Newt and a Braid just to trigger Crom. We can't play this guy. We can't play most of these guys because we're really just on counter spells. I'm going to discard this and this because we need the land. Okay. So now we can get Emeritus, but it's turn 5 and we've not really... Or I guess we can Nira. We can get Emeritus. We do want to keep him. And then hopefully... So on someone else's turn, we counterspell them. Just to do it. We don't need to do it, but we're just gonna do it. We draw Niv Glizzy. We use Nira's trigger. So this goes to the bottom of the library. And we get Harmonic Prodigy. Next turn, we play Niv Mizzet. We don't want to Nira trigger this. This is one of the things we want to be triggering. And at this point, like, I think the deck is... The deck functions... Or this deck, the 99 you have built. You've built a decent Is It 99 that does better without Nira than it does with her. So I would go back to the drawing board. Right now, we're not even going to put you on the board since this is your first go at an Is It deck. You've built an Is It 99 for, like, Is It is straightforward. So you have built an Is It 99 with that works with every Is It commander that isn't Nira. And I guess the Bob Cut gotcha. And it, hey, not me, but I understand it. So I would say like 35 lands, probably more mana rocks. Fuck Leyline of Anticipation. Fuck O'Hare Pakpatik. These things are not resolving. Good job on Brainstone. Fuck Goblin Electromancer. You are not discounting things. You are cheating them out in the first place. Swap the counter spells out for other stuff and then cut these 15 cards. And then start from the ground up on what are my 5 to 10 cards I want to cheat out with Nira? What are my 5 to 10 cards that are going to allow me to put those 5 to 10 cards on top of the deck? And then, with whatever space you have, mana rocks and lands to get to Nira. And if you still have space, more card draw. And that is going to bring us to the end of tonight. Thank you, everybody who signed up. Oh, wait, Swordbro Streams and D2 Vincent, thank you for the Prime subs. Welcome back to the dog home, my friends. Thank you for the Bezos bucks. And with that, we will end the stream. Thank you to everybody who watched, followed, subscribed. We will be back Friday doing the same thing. I hope you all had a good time. I hope you're having a good week. And remember to stay toxic.